Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. I'm your host, Strongman, and today we're going to talk about whether you're a person that values freedom or whether you're a person that values status. Now, these two people are completely different. If you value freedom, you tend to save lots of money and build wealth. If you value status, you tend to hate people that value freedom, and instead you try to denigrate them and basically just live your life trying to impress other people that don't care about you. All right? So we're going to compare the two types of people. One, the status seekers, who are the vast majority of Americans, and two, the people that truly value freedom, who are a tiny but wealthy and really, truly successful minority. So let's discuss. So on the right here, I have a person that values freedom. And on the left, my left, your right, I have somebody that values status. These two people are fundamentally different. People that value status are the vast majority of Americans. People that really value freedom are a tiny minority. Who is somebody that values freedom? And what do we mean by freedom? Now, when you live in a society, you're not 100% free. You have to obey the laws. You can't just go out and do whatever you want. But you can achieve a maximum amount of freedom that your society allows based on the decisions that you make. Now, if you work for an employer, are you as free as you possibly could be? No, you're not. Because you are beholden to somebody that can arbitrarily fire you at will to supply your livelihood. So do you think you could possibly get away from that and maybe be self-employed and provide your own income? Would that give you more freedom to do and say and act as you wish? Yes, it would. That is freedom. If you want to be free, you have to be anti-consumerist. Why? Why is consumerism such a problem? And why does consumerism prevent freedom? Well, if your whole goal in life, or what drives you, is to just spend as much money as you possibly can, to basically spend everything and leverage your lifestyle, to create the illusion of being wealthier than you are, you're a consumerist. You're never going to accumulate the wealth, the capital that you need to create your own business and to pursue your own financial independence. You are stuck spending all your money, as much as you possibly can, to one-up your neighbors and to act like you look cool and rich on Instagram and Facebook. That's consumerism. So in order to potentially be free, to have a chance at being self-employed, at being your own boss, your own master, you have to drop consumerism. You have to resist that urge to buy the newest thing, to spend all your money. You have to save money. You have to make little sacrifices that give you long-term results. So somebody that values freedom is anti-consumerist. They don't believe that fulfillment comes from spending all your money while being beholden to an employer your whole life, who can fire you at a whim. What else do people that value freedom do? They invest. They defer gratification. If you're working for somebody, you're beholden. You don't control your life. If you have a terrible boss, but you're stuck in a job, that's it. You're stuck in that job because you don't have the financial wherewithal to support yourself. However, you can slowly change that by investing, by putting your money in the stock market and holding it for the long term, because that allows you to accumulate wealth. And over time, you can use that wealth to sustain yourself indefinitely into the future. That allows you to become free. It allows you to eventually quit your job. You will never be able to quit your job, no matter how much you make, if you don't invest. You have to invest to achieve freedom. If you don't, then you're going to be not a slave, but you're going to be stuck with your freaking boss or your company, working for them, making somebody else profits for your entire life because you did not invest. You must invest. It is a mandatory requirement to achieve freedom. But if you don't want freedom, if you don't want to be controlled by somebody else to the minimum extent possible, you don't have to invest. You know, you can just blow all your money and then just work your whole life until you die. That's on you. Next thing, somebody that values freedom lives a minimalistic lifestyle. That is somebody who lives frugally. It is not somebody who lives cheaply. It is somebody who lives frugally, which means you don't spend money on something that is unnecessary, something that you don't truly need. Now, a minimalist is somebody that instead of buying 20,000 plates for their house, for their kitchen, maybe they'll buy 4 plates if they have a family of 4. Or maybe if they have 2 kids and a mother and father, they get a 3-bedroom house instead of a 10-bedroom big mansion, because they actually buy what they need without endangering the lives of their family. That's minimalism. It is living below your means and not spending all your money on crap just for the sake of accumulating it. If you want to accrue wealth, this ties into investing. If you want to have money available to invest, you need to live a minimalist lifestyle, which is an anti-consumerist lifestyle, and not spend money for the sake of spending it to accumulate as much crap and junk as possible. If you adhere to this philosophy, you can slowly work your way towards freedom, where you're free, where you're truly free, or you can just keep blowing all your money. Frugality, I already talked about that. If you want to be free, you have to be frugal. You have to have money to invest. That money invests, it grows over time, and eventually you have enough money to sustain yourself. So if your boss is a poo-poo head and you don't like your job anymore, but you have $5 million, well, boss, bye, and then you leave, and then you go do something else you want. Now, it's not a license to be lazy by having a lot of money, but it gives you choice. It gives you freedom. If you don't like your current work conditions, if your boss is terrible, your coworkers are losers, you can leave whenever you want and not have to think about it because you have all the money in the world. You're able to sustain yourself without working. And you can use that time and that freedom to find something that you truly enjoy doing. That is freedom. People that value freedom are long-term thinkers. If you are not a long-term thinker, if you can't think into the future and kind of plan your life out, what's the point of investing? If you're like, oh my God, I'm 30 and I'm just gonna live my life and blow all my money because I'll be dead at 50. Well, you're not a long-term thinker because most people live into their freaking 80s nowadays, okay? But there are countless idiots, and yes, I use the word idiots, that I live with, that I interact with, that just don't plan for the future at all. They can't imagine themselves 20 years in the future, even though they will most likely, very likely be that old in the future. They can't imagine it. It's just too hard, okay? They just blow all their money and live day to day because I might die, but probably won't before I'm 80. If you can't get over that, you're done. You will never achieve freedom. You will always work for an employer. You will always have to go to work. If you have a terrible boss, or if there's a recession, or your coworkers are horrible, you're stuck in that crap, terrible job. And you are not free to leave because you need that money from your boss every month. That's you. If you don't invest, or live a minimalist lifestyle, or be frugal, or save your freaking money, or work towards achieving freedom. And finally, if you own your own business, and you're providing value to other people, and people are willingly giving you money, not mandatorily giving you money like taxes. If people are willingly giving you money because you provide something of value to them, and you can live off that, well, you're free because you are able to provide a living for yourself and your family based on your skills and your value. So you want to be self-employed. You don't want to work for anybody. And yes, you do kind of work for your customers in a way, but if you invest and you live frugally and you have enough money to sustain yourself, you don't have to worry about self-employment. This is one of the steps to getting to ultimate freedom, but you're a hell of a lot more free when you're self-employed than you are working for some freaking employer, because all the profits of your business go to you instead of you working for an employer who uses you to help build their profits. So you kind of get screwed with that, okay? That's somebody who values freedom. You want to be this person. But if you're the average, boring, basic, I'm a good person American who's really a loser, You're probably somebody who values status. I want to look good, and I don't care how much it costs or how much it hurts me in the long run. Status is all that matters. If that's you, you need to change yourself. Somebody who values status is somebody who loves consumerism. You have to buy the newest thing. You have to spend all your money. And if you don't, then you're cheap. You have to live day to day. Because even though you'll most likely live to your 80 or 90 or whatever, you just have to live day to day because that's what you have to do because that's what the TV told you. That's a consumerist. That's somebody that is never satisfied because they always need to buy more crap. They need to get the newest thing or have the newest experience, which is usually them just screwing off somewhere doing nothing. That's consumerism, okay? Constantly having to buy new stuff because, oh, my neighbor has something better than me. If that's you, then you have a freaking problem and you're always going to be poor. And you're always going to be beholden to somebody else because you want the status. You want people to see you on Facebook and be jealous. That's you as a consumerist or somebody that likes people to look at them. Look at me. I have Instagram and Facebook and people heart my pictures and I got more likes than my friend and I have nicer clothes. That's you. If that's you, you're somebody that values status. You're not a or you're not a good person or you're not a non-cheap ass, as people like to say. You're somebody that values status. Does that make you a good person because you want people to look at you and because you spend all your money fruitlessly? Does that make you better than somebody that lives a frugal lifestyle? Well, to the average American, yeah. If you live frugally and you want to have freedom in America, you're just a bad person. You're a loser, you're cheap. No one likes you. But if you make a Facebook profile and you're just putting all these pictures and you want to take 20,000 pictures before you find the one that makes you look good, that means you're a good person. That means you're successful. I'm sure that makes you happy too. So, somebody that desires status, they want to be perceived as amazing. They engage in consumerism, just blow all your money, don't plan for the future. Look at me, oh my God, look at my Facebook. And you're a materialist. You're all about the big house, and the car, all the stuff that you finance that you can barely afford, that puts you in massive debt. And it doesn't matter if you're owned by the banks, right? As long as you look good, as long as you have status and your neighbors think you're a big deal. Yeah, you're really winning, aren't you? You're a short-term thinker. You don't care about the future. The future is like some crazy thing that is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to be 50. You're not going to be 60 and want to retire. No, you're probably going to be dead, right? That's you. If you don't save money, if you don't live a frugal lifestyle, you're going to be this person, short-term thinker. You're not smart enough to really plan for your future because your future will come whether you want it to or not. And finally, somebody that desires status is employed. You know, they graduate high school, they go to college like a good little boy or girl, then they go work for their corporation and they climb the ladder. And, I can tell my friends that I'm a vice president of this and that. That's what these people want. They want to be perceived as successful because they have titles, because they have status, which doesn't mean wealth. Having a nice title but blowing all your money means you're freaking a broke loser. It does not mean you're successful. But corporations love that. They love it when you work for them, you work your heart and soul out, and they give you a little title to make you feel better, to make you feel like you have status, so you work harder, and then they can use you to build profits for people that value freedom, that own the corporation, all right? So you don't want to be this person that's all about status. I live in a small house, I have a paid off, crappy car, and I'm frugal. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, you're so cheap. Well, guess what? One day, in the next 15 years, maybe, at the most, I'm going to be free because I'm going to have so much freaking money and have so much income coming in that I'm free to do whatever I want. Whereas you are going to keep buying your big house and your car, and you're going to be owned by the company that employs you, and you're going to be a slave to Facebook and whatever, all the likes. That's going to be you. This will be me. That'll be you. So I hope I explained the difference between two different types of people that live in this country. the majority, the brainwashed majority, and the enlightened minority. That's the difference. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. You have a wonderful day.